Okay, last speech by Massimo Perotti, Executive Chairman of San Lorenzo. I think he is in his office. I hope he's there.
We were founded in 1958, but our knowledge stems from 5 centuries of history. Building one of our yachts takes 900 different skills and talents. Each San Lorenzo yacht represents the best in yacht building technology and interior design. Our customers come a long way, and they deserve the chance to relax in the best place in the world. Our way of building made-to-measure yachts comes from the classic art of tailoring. Building a San Lorenzo yacht takes time and passion. That's why we can only fulfill the needs of 50 customers a year. Creating your perfect yacht is a journey we'll be making together.
Okay, this was the video. I can't see Mr. Perotti on the screen. Good morning, thank you for accepting our invitation. Well, can you see and hear us? Yes. Yeah, I hope you also hear me and see me. Yes, of course. Thank you. Thank you for being there. Well, I don't know if you also listened to the previous speeches. I have been there for 1 hour, more or less. We had the Piero Lissoni here. I would like to start with that because he feels like an illegal worker at the San Lorenzo and his contribution. And he also talked about his pathway from the beginning on. Well, I think it is also interesting from your point of view. What was the experience and the experience with the architect above all? Well, why did you hire an architect not from the nautic sector? Well, what kind of contribution did you expect? Well, the experience was an excellent one and very rewarding. Please bear in mind that this was a strategic choice of San Lorenzo, starting working with with designers not coming from the nautic sector. It dates back to 2006, 2007, and it started with Don Toni, with whom we created the first 106. Then we presented it at the trade show in Genova in 2009. Well, during the crisis, after the outbreak of the crisis, well, our sector was really affected, strongly affected by the crisis, and we could also find a way out of the crisis thanks to him. So it was a very well reflected choice from the beginning. And then we will come to Altiero. Well, after this experience, working for another ship company, another one, not San Lorenzo, at the age of 44, I decided to start working with San Lorenzo. San Lorenzo is a site, the brand is very well known and the reputation is also very good. So the level of quality, solidity, and comfort was very high. The company was a small one, 40 million euros turnover in 2005, and the store history was a long one for furniture items and fittings. From 2005 on, we came up with the idea of innovating. The owner was 75 years old. He had 55 years of work experience behind him, so the outcomes were very, very good, and the brand was brought to a very high level, but the product was a little bit old-fashioned and outdated, as it is often the case. So we wanted to innovate while sticking to the tradition. So San Lorenzo has a specific style and design, so we couldn't put it upside down, so the shape of San Lorenzo. So at the beginning, the main difficulty was innovating while sticking to the tradition. Well, if there is a client who wants to buy a Porsche 911, well, this car was designed in 1938. It was innovated 15 times in the last 78 years, but the shape is always the same. I mean, if you love this car, well, 911, well, you have to stick to these lines and shapes. So we wanted to innovate, for example, for the interior design. So we wanted to go out of to leave the nautic industry. It was a little bit outdated, as I told you before. It didn't give a boost to our business for many years, and the easiest thing to do at that point in time, it was not that easy actually at that time, but anyway, we decided to move to Milan and to get in touch with the best designers, Tommy, then another very good experience with the Citerio, and then thanks to my colleague Sergio Buttiglieri, I could get some help from him, and we could also come across Piero Lissoni, and this was kind of a spark. Okay, so something great from the beginning. And there were a lot of developments because he also designed the new production sites, the new fittings, because we had already a contract, an existing contract. So we also understood that it was very important to communicate in a specific way with more companies. So together with Piero, we really worked. Our work went hand in hand, and this was a very strategic partnership. If I have to identify a strategic choice that was made in the last 6-8 years in our company that also led us to be listed at on the stock exchange, I think that this partnership with the Lissoni studio and this very close cooperation with Piero was really crucial, and this also made the difference between and made us stand out compared to our competitors. And the idea of working together with Milan-based designers, but we also went beyond. We also work with Christian Negro, Giaposo, and many other designers in the last couple of years. So the idea of working together with all these designers not coming from this sector, and this was also possible thanks to other elements. So San Lorenzo, our yachts are made to measure. They are tailor-made. So we have old boats with more than 40 meters length. And this long business of 24 to up to 40 meters. So there is a prototype, like a template, and then we can also change the fabrics, and the color of marbles, but the layout is always the same and the style is always the same. Well, San Lorenzo, so in 2004, when there was another owner, and the previous owner, not me, well, we always tried to manufacture products that are made to measure. Then he also gave me some power, so I could make important decisions. So there are sometimes very high-end designers that approach and address this product. They want to make decisions. They want to be empowered. And this was something that was also done by Italian competitors and international competitors. Well, a technical infrastructure and a production structure. So we manufacture 50 boats per year, not 300. And this is another element that enables us to have made-to-measure production for professionalism, for quality. So we always try to keep very high quality standards. Well, how did you come up with the idea of getting listed on the stock exchange for you as a company? Well, please note that I have just turned 60 years old. I think at a specific point in time, there are some important steps you want to go through. I was a manager, I was a businessman, and I was 22 years old. I was not, I had not finished my studies at university at that time, so I was very, very young. So you can see that we sell boats to the richest customers in the world. So we deal with businessmen, etc. So at the beginning, it was quite difficult, I have to say, because I also had this difficulty keeping the best managers with me. And this difficulty was even bigger since we were talking about a family run company at the beginning. So we also wanted to have our professionalism, our earnings, etc., our profits. I was also a CEO of a big ship company, nautic company. So, given my previous work experience, I decided that the San Lorenzo was the end of a cycle. 15 years, 40 million euros. So we moved from this turn. I moved from this turnover to 500. Well, a Southern Europe company to a company that distributes products all over the world, and over 15 years, I could keep 60% of the equity of the company. Well, this is something I really like, in spite of our presence on the stock exchange. But I also realized that I had to make important decisions for my family members, and I thought that being on the stock exchange was the best option for all of us. It was also kind of a foresighted choice in a way. So I think that this also makes sure that there is a more managerial development of the company. I don't want to oblige my children to be managers. They can just choose what they want to do. But also, this idea is a great one, also from the human point of view. Well, this is a big opportunity, and also financial resources. I don't want to get into details, but anyway, communication towards stakeholders in the world outside. And there are a lot of advantages which are really crucial. The businessman has less power in a way, and his activity is more controlled. Well, in the past, I could do whatever I wanted in the company, and nowadays this is no longer possible. But I would like also to share a piece of advice with all the businessmen who are here. This is not a limit being on the stock exchange. This is an opportunity for growing and making the company grow. We see that sometimes we have private companies that are family run, and these businessmen are used to having too much power. It is important to have rules. Rules are needed as a businessman as well. So the businessman has to comply with these rules. So we also need committees, we also need all the bodies that control the activity, and it can be bothering in a way. It can bother you in a way because you want to have more power, but on the other hand, it can also help the businessman grow and the company can be managed in a more professional way. So there is a control over the customers that are chosen, a control on the activities that are carried out, and whatever deals with sustainability or funds and financing, etc., etc. So something that might also not deal with the company. I think that this will make companies more independent and stronger in the future. This is a big advantage. One man show, well, this is very nice. This is very effective in the first years at the beginning when the company has to be developed. But I think that the stock exchange can prepare the company to go through further steps, turning points for a faster and better growth. Very, very interesting and insightful. Talking about the nautic sector, well, do you think that after this crisis, you are once again world and international leader, or maybe we haven't come back yet to the great developments of the beginning of the 21st century, so 2000? Well, first of all, I have to say that this is something we can see. So the importance of yachts in Italy for the World Championship, but not just for that. We also have big ships and boats more than 24 meters. We have a very long-standing tradition. We are the first ones, 450 boats of this type in Italy, out of 900 in total. So we are talking about 50.5%. I think there is no other Italian company with such a big power as we have on the international level. And we are the Germans in the automotive sector, so concerning all these big boats and ships. And this leadership was there also 10 years ago, but today I think it's much stronger, thanks to Italian manufacturers who were able to innovate themselves and being very creative in order to improve their products. And this is also due to our competitors. I was talking about manufacturers and suppliers from America. America has the biggest market in the world. In the last 10 years, the production of ships and boats more than 24 meters is no longer there. We have a lot of brands that do not exist any longer. Christians, Broward, it was sold with 250 billion dollars turnover, and Burger, Delta, Wellcraft. We have strong brands that disappeared in the last 10 years. If we consider so the Italian turnover, we can say that it can also go up thanks to this. If we think about France, Monte Carlo Yacht was a very important company, but did not succeed in expanding in this sector, in spite of an important investment. And then we also have other countries and companies. Well, there was Russia, for example. A Russian fund was came into play in an important operation that was carried out 15 days ago, together with an important French company, which was suffering a little bit because we are talking about ships and boats of less than 24 meters, and they said that they wanted to reduce their production and they just want to manufacture small ships and boats of less than 24 meters. So for all these reasons, the Italian industry, for its work, but also thanks to the less important role of other companies, is doing very, very well. Well, we are gaining some ground in spite of the other companies, and I think that we also have an internal competitiveness, the three biggest groups are Italian ones, San Lorenzo, Aso Ferretti, and Ferretti, and these also brought about big acceleration, but also there were some shocks, there were some difficulties, but the product is becoming more and more beautiful. So we have internal competitors, but we had also a lot of investments in the product. So when we go to Miami or to Düsseldorf, to Cannes, where you have the most important European and American and South Asian markets, Southeastern Asian markets, you can see the Italian product, which is much more beautiful than the products that are manufactured by the competitors, up to 50, 60 meters. And then starting from that size, then we have North European, well, Dutch people and German people who do much better than us. They are still leaders, right? Yes, they will leaders for many years to come. Well, one of my main life goals as San Lorenzo, as a company, I hope I will keep working for this company for some years. And I would like to reduce the importance of all these competitors in terms of design, in terms of quality of construction. Well, also, as far as innovation is concerned, the quality, etc., we are better also for big ships and boats. But if we compare our production with the Dutch and German production, we see that they are better organized, so they can transfer onto the market another idea of quality. Sometimes it is overestimated, better than it really is. So Dutch and German boats and ships, more than 60 meters, well, they are sold at a price that is higher than the Italian one. This is a kind of push factor for us. We have room for growth, for improvement. So why not? Let's roll up our sleeves as we did for products of more than 150 meters, and in this way we can also make the most and take advantage of big ships, 60, 70, 80. Very last question. 50 boats out of 800 boats, right? So you have like 5, 6, 7% as a share on the overall market. Where do you think you will get in the next few years as San Lorenzo brand, with the brand extension and the length, etc.? And are you also envisaging any M&A operations in order to speed up this growth? Well, it is not just about accelerate. We consider that we manufacture a high quality product with comfort that is higher than our competitors, with a painstaking care for any details, and we are also very close to art to convey the value of our brand. So our goal is to have a moderate growth, as we think that building 200, 300 boats is something that is quite far away from the idea of quality of services and products. We wanted to be the only site that manufacture made-to-measure boats, so tailor-made. So we need a specific production organization and technical organization. It is more time-consuming. It takes a lot of time. So it's not just a mass production. I mean, but all these features that are part of our business model as San Lorenzo were also the recipe for success for all of us. We wouldn't like to give it up. But we would like to keep working like this, and in this way, I think it's also much easier to understand the difference between a Ferrari and a Porsche. These these two cars are very well built. They are also they have also very high performances. But Ferrari is something different. I mean, it's much faster, maybe 5, 6 times more than a Porsche. And Ferrari is a truly luxury car. Then, if you consider the production, you know that Ferrari is much less produced than a Porsche. So we need to make choices. We can't do everything. We want a brand with a specific amount and number of boats. So we wouldn't like to give up this business model because we think that this is a winning solution. Well, this business model and these choices allowed us in 2008 up to 2014 to have no short time work and no redundancy fund, nothing at all. So we had no crisis on the labor market as far as our sector is concerned for San Lorenzo. So we didn't increase our turnover, but we did have any short time work. So in the future, we will have a growth, and this growth will focus and place a lot of value on quality and the profits also, thanks to the services, thanks to the growth in terms of turnover rather than a 20-30% growth rate. And also, as far as M&A operations are concerned, we have this Operini operation. We started working on that 1 year ago, but I think M&A operations must be carried out in a very strict way, very strictly. I mean, I had a talk with an important manager, Italian manager and businessman. I was talking to him about the beauty of all these ships, etc. And he said, well, there is too many motions. There are too many motions. So companies must be sold when figures are well sorted out. So you have to you have to set aside all the emotions. Perini, this is a good deal. And the Ferretti group is also working on that. This is the first time that we have this joint M&A operation. So, and we will do that only if there is some common sense underlying this operation. It needs some time, and we also have to consider that that company has lost 180 million euros in the last 10 years with a turnover of 60 million euros, not 200 or 300. So the turnaround must be very well designed, and we also have to consider that there is no positive development of that company. So the impact, the trend is very negative at the moment, and so we also have to consider the assets. I think we read something in the press, in the newspapers. We will organize some meetings with Galassi, Perini, Ferretti, and we will also have to identify the limit that we will not exceed. So we are willing to make investments, but we have to design everything in the proper way. So thank you very much. Have a lovely day, and well done, and all the best for the future as well. Thank you.
We've come to the end of this summit. Thank you for being here with us. I hope this morning gave some food for thought to all of us, and see you next year.